We'll jump back to the SFA then in terms of your current role, Dougie. So you're now coach education and development manager. So can you just give us a little bit of what that is basically? What's your roles and what are you kind of responsible for there?
Yeah, we've got within our kind of structure, we've got Greg Patterson who heads up coach education. So we report directly into Greg. So there's myself and Richie Wilson, and now we've got Martin Bucky as well as part of the team. So as coach education managers, myself and Richie kind of deal with the UEFA A license, UEFA B license, the UEFA Elite Youth A license, and the UEFA Youth B license, as well as CPD,
Yeah.
and quite a few other areas as well. But that's the kind of main ones that we work on in terms of delivering the courses, the assessments, and CPD for the coaches as well. They need CPD to, once you do get a license of whatever level, say it's a UEFA B, they need to have 15 hours of CPD every 3 years to keep that license
Yeah.
valid. So we're involved in that as well. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the main duties and responsibilities of me and Rich. Martin, he kind of looks at the UEFA C license and the level one courses that underpin that underneath that. So
Yeah.
that's kind of our roles, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So for those that don't know, in terms of the pathways of coach, then Dougie, you mentioned obviously you said the A's, the B's, the youth
Yeah.
license level one. So if I was, I'm not a coach, so if I was wanting to start off my coaching journey, what am I doing, and what is the pathway to get up to that kind of pro license or whatever, the top level at the moment?
Yeah, well, we started at level one. So we, during the pandemic, we converted a lot of our courses to online, that we still keep them online. So you would start off, we've got an introduction to coaching course, which is online. So that's for anybody, whether
Yeah.
you're going in at children's, youth, adult. Once you've done that, you then can pick what pathway you want to go on. So if you're working with primary age kids, you would pick the children's pathway.
Yeah.
So you then do a certificate course, an award course, which takes you up to the UEFA C license for children.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on the youth stroke adult pathway, after your introduction to coaching, you would go up the youth pathway, which looks at 11 aside football. So we do the certificate course, which I think is 12 hours, the award, which is a further 12 hours, and that takes you to the UEFA C license, youth and adult.
Yeah.
If you pass, that's the first pass or fail. UEFA C, so it's like 4 days. Looking at the 11-a-side game, technical training sessions, tactical training sessions. You pass that, then you go up to UEFA B,
Mm-hmm.
which is about 100, I think it's a 120-hour duration course, UEFA B.
Yeah.
If you pass that, you then go up to the UEFA A. If you pass that, you would go up to the pro license.
Yeah.
However, at UEFA B, if you're a youth developer, you may choose to go across to the UEFA Youth B and
Mm-hmm.
then go up to the Elite Youth A,
Yeah.
which is for guys that are developing players.
Yeah.
So we've got quite a comprehensive pathway that I think covers, all different sort of ages and stages of players' development, and the coaches can then pick what's suitable for them and whatever context they're kind of working within.
Yeah. Perfect. And then if we just kind of focus on one specifically, then Dougie, say the B license, you mentioned 120 hours. So the first question is, to do a B license, do you have to be employed? Do you have to be working full time in coaching at a club to get them hours, or how does that kind of look?
No, no, I think we probably have more people apply than we can get on the courses.
Mm.
So we look through the kind of where people are working. What they do have, they don't need to be full time, but they do need to be working with an 11-a-side team
Yeah.
15 years and above. So that's a must, because they need to be working, with that team as part of the course when they're away from us as tutors, that they're practicing in
Yeah.
that environment. So we have people from not just from Scotland, we have them from over the UK, we have them from abroad that fly in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there is no set criteria apart from you have to have your UEFA C license,
Yeah.
and then we kind of would look at potentially your experience in the game where you're working, and go that way. So that's kind of how we. So there's opportunities for everybody, that is interested to to apply and get on that course.
Yeah, perfect. And then so in terms of, aside from them delivering sessions and obviously what we call that on the grass, how much other stuff is included? Because obviously I was lucky enough to kind of be a little bit included in the analysis section, which was very interesting to see what's included there and the tasks that were set for the coaches. So analysis is just one part. What kind of other things are as part of the B license, Dougie?
We kind of have the four corner model of the technical, tactical, physical, psychological. So we cover that. So there's two lectures on psychology, in terms of your relations with players, your relations with staff. We also have cover the physical element, especially there's all the different elements of if you're working with adults, if you're working with youth players, how the physical side of the game, how you should think about that, because anytime you go on the pitch, there's a physical demand on your players. So we look at that in detail.
Yep.
We also cover laws of the game with the referees. And as you say, we cover match analysis. So, about how you start to, look at your own team or maybe your opponents that you're going to play, and how you look at that as, with that coach's eye on it, rather than sometimes when we watch Match of the Day, you're watching it as a fan. When you start looking at the game and analysing it, we the tasks that we give, one of them being, looking at a future opponent, you start to look at it in a different way, in terms of what we discussed earlier on in the conversation. Yeah. So there's some of the things that we look at, and part of the work that the guys do as well. They have to design sessions. We have a portfolio on Academy Soccer Coach that they design sessions. They can put their match analysis in. We also have the role of the part-time manager. We've had various different people come in to do presentations on that, because we feel that might be the first management job that some of the candidates may get as a part-time role, and give them the real insights to what that job entails. Because it's sometimes not quite it's not quite what you would expect when you go into the senior game. It's different, but it just gives the guys an insight as to what to potentially expect in their first job, some of the challenges, how we go about it, your first meeting with the players, what you're going to say, what you're going to talk about. You get that first chance. So no, it covers quite it's not just about on the grass, although the kind of tactical part of it is one of the main parts of the course, is showing that competency of being able to coach a 11-a-side game, with different formations, different themes. So it's quite a comprehensive course.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, just on that point there you made in terms of the first time having a team talk and the first time, like just thinking back, obviously the same goes for any role really, but I remember when I first was an analyst back in the day, and the first time you go into the changing room at half time and stuff, the first time you go in the changing room after the game, after you've been beaten and stuff, like there's all of that kind of thing to think about, and it's all those different experiences are valuable in, I suppose, learning, becoming a better.
100%. Yeah.